Beloved Nancy, Lady Francesca would like to just share with us briefly today. Nancy Frainer, ascended. And she tells us that our health and vitality, our wellness is very important to fulfill our mission. Because when we are in the divine zone of proximal development, where we can access greater and greater light, we can do higher spiritual things, engage in more refined activities, and the foundation for this is a solid and healthy body temple. Many of you know that Nancy did healing modalities, including foot reflexology or foot sonology. She also was able to do certain adjustments with her training in physical therapy. She was very sensitive, very attuned, and when she would touch someone, there was a conveyance of light as well as healing energy. And it always would raise people up. It would assist them in maybe alleviating pain, discomfort. And she, through all of her training, both at Summit University, Summit Lighthouse, and in the Heart Center, was very attuned to the spirit within an individual and what the soul or the spirit of that person required in that moment. So it is with all true healers that when they are with us, attuning to our I Am presence as well as our higher Christ consciousness and our body temple, they can see things that we don't normally see. They can feel things that we may not see or have overlooked. What Nancy shares today is that the means whereby each of us reach divine equilibrium in our body temple are unique for us because we're all different. There are certain things, though, that we can all do to bring ourselves consciously into a more stable and healthy life situation. And we know many of these practices. We have talked about them. We follow as much as we can the offerings of Anthony William in terms of diet. We have followed as much as we are able to Omar Mikhail Ivanov's teachings on diet, which are also very important in terms of how we eat, eating consciously, eating slowly, etc., and really attuning to the food as we digest it and utilize it in our body. What she's also speaking of today is our mental attitude and our emotional attitude. We've heard of emotional intelligence, and we know that we appreciate people that are loving and kind and more affectionate and more responsive to us from the heart rather than just the mind or the brain, because we know that wisdom by itself or truth by itself isn't the entire picture. It isn't the full complementary of all of the virtues. We have to have a balance of love, wisdom, and faith or power in order to be in our Christ consciousness. So our mental attitude and our emotional attitude set the sail for our divine life, our victory in any endeavor that we are engaged in, and having the right mental attitude sets in place and in motion the essentials for us to be victorious in everything. If we doubt ourselves, if we have self-talk that limits us, this is injurious to our inner self because we're demeaning the God within us. And so conscious language, compassionate communication, or nonviolent communication is key to maintaining this harmonic within our body temple and all of our spiritual bodies so that the wellness can really take hold at all levels. We can be well, we can be whole at all levels of our being. Now, Nancy, unfortunately, at the end of her life, had this very alarming disease, which was an anomaly, and very few people have or have contracted what she contracted. And why did that happen for her? I've always wondered, why that was. Well, it was problematic from a human standpoint. It was simply a means to an end of her ascending. She chose that, and she chose to undergo that so that she could be even more compassionate. Her heart would open even more to those who require help, those who require healing. And we can be like that too. When we see someone suffering, there's a part of us that can be responsive, not through human pity or sympathy, yet through compassion and empathy. And when we have that right attitude, emotional attitude, as well as mental attitude, the compassion is there, the empathy is there, that then leads us to be responsive, yet also wise in our response, so that we can really, really help people with whatever they're going through. Counselors, psychologists, and those trained in counseling can really help people. Yet, unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of the training in psychology doesn't take into account the entire spiritual person. They may talk about the soul in some quarters, yet the Ascended Masters, of course, are the true psychologists because they know the totality of the being of the person. And so Nancy is showing me how she has taken training, even as an ascended being, in the higher psychology of the spirit with Kuthumi and Jesus and other masters who, with their deep understanding of the total being of the person, can help people at whatever level of consciousness they are and whatever they're going through and be effective in that treatment. And so when, for instance, she would work on someone's feet, we know that the points in the foot relate to the organs and the systems in the body. With that understanding, you can also help to clear certain blockages within the body temple and in the psyche too. And so what she's showing me is that the upper part of the foot relates more, of course, to the brain, the mind, and the big toe especially is the brain and the head. And when we having difficulty thinking positive thoughts or maybe maintaining a very healthy, positive attitude, both mentally and emotionally about our life, about others, about the world at large, we can simply massage our feet, the upper portion especially, and the big toe especially, and ask the masters to help us to refine our consciousness so that our attitude is of the highest frequency, of the highest vibration. Our mental capacity can expand. And she says that, yes, science teaches us that most of mankind uses only a certain portion of the brain. Well, why is that? Because they're not attuned to the higher mind, the Christic mind. We haven't been trained from infancy and childhood to learn that we are God's children. We are God's sons and daughters. We have the ability to cognize with great perfectionment and to think divine thoughts and to know God internally. And because God has been taken out of the school systems and prayer, etc., there's not the wherewithal to attune to our higher minds by devotion and praise and all the virtuous practices that we try to engage in our Heart Center community and movement. When love of God and love of Source returns, then people will be able to utilize more of their mind and even their human brain because we're attuned to the mind of God, kind of the universal brain or the system that governs the universe. Now, there are initiates and great, great masters who have gone far beyond what most people can think and cognize, who are bringing into the earth through inspired initiates higher teachings, greater instruction, and revelations that are going to be very beneficial in this transition point from Pisces to Aquarius because we have to be able to see the truth for what it is. Many, many people are asleep. They don't question authority. They don't question the news. And so they're ignorant about so many things. And so their higher functioning centers aren't active because they simply are ignoring the divine way, the divine light, the divine system that governs the universe. They haven't been deep thinkers to actually bridge this gap between mortality and immortality and to start conceiving immaculately and perceiving that there's a higher way, there's a higher ideal, there is a divine system in place. So Nancy says that when our body temple is in alignment through right diet, through right practices, deep breathing, through enough liquids and cleansing periodically, and actually, Anthony Williams' diets are about continuous cleansing because we've taken in so many toxins, and even past generations pass on those toxins through the blood of the mother to the child. And so we're at a point where we really have to clean, clear, so that we can be the clearest and the most pure vessels for the higher mindfulness and the Aquarian thought and feeling processes that the Masters desire to inspire upon and within us. Because if we're going to get Aquarius manifesting, we all have to be able to cognize and vibrate at a higher frequency. This is part of bridging this gap between what people call the third dimension and the fifth and higher dimensions. We have to be able to have a clear and clean vessel to be able to think the thoughts of God and feel the emotions or the energy and motion of our source. So consider how everything in your life flows from a stream or a source of purity and perfection and beauty and joy and love. And try to remain in that stream of this beingness so that your body temple is shining and bright, glossy and radiant. Your mind is clear. And we're going to end our service by singing to Claire de Lys because this song is very powerful. It both clears the atmosphere of the earth, yet it also clears our minds. So sing this song liberally, Clear the Air with Claire de Lys, throughout the day if you can, and see your mind shining like the sun. See your mind shining bright as the sun. And this will help you to be able to open up new opportunities and vistas for your ascended master life while embodied on earth.